And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Freedom Forum. If you do not know the rules by now, I feel real sorry for you because I ain't going to explain them. This is how it's been. This is how it'll be. Y'all are welcome. Come up on panel or hang out and chat. No bullies allowed and no porn bombing of any kind. Y'all enjoy yourselves and happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. And happy birthday to my brother. Now, it says live on your channel. Let me go fix this real quick. Hey, heathen. Happy Independence Day. Good to see you. William, Grant, good to see y'all. Happy to have you here. Happy Independence Day. And fireworks for all. Now, fuck that shit. Aerial fireworks for all. Put it that way, because in California, it is illegal to actually shoot off aerial fireworks without a permit. Now, I don't know if you know this, but fireworks in their specific form, cheap Chinesium freaking explosives galore, all right? Fireworks are actually enshrined in the Second Amendment. Now, you may not know this because history's a little bit fuzzy, so I'll explain. In colonial times, the rockets that were utilized black powder and incendiary phosphorus in order to light up an area, or when it exploded on a deck of a ship per se, it would actually ignite fires. All right, and that's basically what fireworks are. They're little bits of metal with a black powder charge that ignites it and bursts it, and and you can see it there. And that's firework. It's nothing special. Those little tiny shavings of metal are what light up and make the different colors. So, in essence, fireworks, by their very nature, are pretty much exactly the same as rocket artillery, or for that matter, flares, bursting charges, and bursting flares utilized in the 1700s by militaries. So, therefore, right, that's actually protected. So celebrate all the fuck you want. It's protected by the Second Amendment. Well, it's not so much protected by the Second Amendment; it's protected by your willingness to stand up for the Second Amendment. So there. The Second Amendment just simply acquiesces that the government is not allowed to take that away from you. Let's be fair. It's up to you to stand for that. So, as it were, cheers, beers. Happy 4th of July. And so, independence then. This is the the topic, as it were. Not really the topic, but you know. The title of the video is So, Independence Then. Well, this is about basically, you know, what's going on in the world today. The shit popping off all around us, and you know, those of us who have level heads in this particular type of atmosphere, who are called insane because we have the ability to do that. Well, of course, they want to regulate you and tell you this, that, and the other, and you can't do this, that, and the other, and you don't have this right, and you're fucking this, that, and the other. You don't. No. You can't. Well, guess what? Watch me. Here, hold my beer. Polarian, good to see you. Yeah, you can still call it that because you have the right and the ability to be personally independent from every other motherfucker out there, and it's entirely up to you and how you carry yourself. All right. So independence starts with the individual. You have to be independent. Everybody else can be all societal all they want, but you have to be independent to consider it independence. So, as the individual here, you know, as one of the many individuals who are in this great big happy family we got, I'll put it this way. Go on with your bad self. You want to be part of this whole slow society, and I says it slow society for a reason. That's fine. I'm gonna be independent. I'm gonna do my own damn thing. You do whatever you want. I'm gonna drink my beer, smoke my herbs, shoot my air guns, and be happy. Because that's what I was born into. And anybody who wants to try and change that, they gotta go through me. I love my guns, I love my dog, I love my God. And anybody who tries to change that gotta come through me. And there's some fucking serious ass words, and they are meant, not just said. You want to take it from me, you got to take it from me. You can't just take it from everybody and say, oh, well, then you can't have it because nobody can. No. Let's be clear. I'm going to have it until you try to take it. And when you try to take it, it's going to be taken, sure. But you're going to have a fight on your hands. And let's be serious. This is what our country was built and founded on. The willingness to stand up and say, no, the fuck you don't. This is my home. It's not simple. You know, my daddy used to say, go on with your bad self. You think you hard. You think you bad, go. And I never thought I was bad, let me tell you. That's why when people say, you're a badass, man, no, I ain't. Ain't nobody badass. It's just one of those, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool, but no, ain't nobody badass. Ain't nobody bad. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's because of shit cargo. I'm gonna be fair and honest with that one. That's pretty much all about shit cargo. Because yeah, let's just be fair and honest with that. Folks are using fireworks for what they were originally fucking used for, and the government doesn't like that. So they're turning around and saying, "Well, you can't and we're going to make it certain that you can't. So we're going to take all this away. We're going to wave it in your face like you can't do this, but here's all this fancy shit that you look at, but you can't do it because either you can't afford it or you can't go through all of these extra fucking existential processes, or you may have the ability to go through all of that and have the money to do it, but tell you what, you still have to have special permits to go and do this in the city or anywhere near the city or anywhere near the freaking countryside for that matter in certain states. And if you don't, we are going to arrest you and charge you with having a destructive device. Even though, and mind you, an illegal destructive device, that's what this is about, you know, it's what a charge means. They're going to charge you with an illegal destructive device, even though these are consumer grade fireworks. There's nothing special about them. There's no shrapnel, there's no fragmentation, there's no explosive that's, you know, beyond a certain level. It's, you know, just a bunch of pretty fucking colors and nothing else. They're going to stop you from doing this. Why? Because they feel like they can and you allow them to. See, me personally, I don't mind people having fireworks. Matter of fact, I love fireworks. All right, I do. I actually love fireworks. I like to know that they're going off, that it is fireworks is going off. So I'm, you know, in the right mental space. But other than that, I'm fine with it. My dog don't like fireworks of any kind, just because he's a Democrat. What can I say? My dog's a Democrat. But passive of that, I like fireworks. I like things that go boom. I like things that, you know, make sparkly showers and cool shit in the sky and fun stuff to look at, oohs and ahs and all that fun. I like the fact that people celebrate this great nation we live in. All right. So, you know, some mishaps that happened a couple of years ago for me, or maybe it was a year ago or something, I don't know. January 1st or whatever, my dog ended up busting his eye open because he came in the freaking doggy door too quick because he was scared of the fireworks. See, I don't mind the fireworks, like I said. I was going to sleep right through it, but because somebody went and woke me up because the dog was terrified, I went out and I said something. Like, look, y'all been going at it for about half an hour. It's been great, grand, all right, fun, good. It's first of the year. Happy New Year's. Can I ask you folks to, you know, call it night? Because it has been half an hour, you know, and nothing personal, but my dog just almost killed himself because you're blowing up mortars over the top of my house. I mean, it's one that, you know, I'm all right with it. I personally am fine with it. He ain't. I don't mind. I like fireworks. I really do. So, you know, it was one of those things where the feller just, I guess he didn't like what I had to say or something like, welcome to America. Dude, I don't fucking care. I like fireworks. I'm glad that we're an American. I'm glad you can do that. And I'm happy to stand for your ability to do that. Matter of fact, motherfucker, somebody tries to stop you from doing that in the beginning of it all. We got fighting words. All right. Well, I'm gonna be fair and simple. It's been a fucking half hour and nothing but blowing off the loudest fucking fireworks in the fucking land, and some of them that I know for a fact are illegal. And I didn't say shit to anybody except for to the individual doing it. Hey, bro, all right, it's been a half hour. Can you know? Let's be adults about this. So that's what I'm on about, you know. But when it comes down to this, you know, you can't because you're a civilian. Let me point something out to you, son. Americans, aside from the moniker of civilian, not a single fucking one of us are. Every last one of us is militia. Whether you like it or not, you can be drafted at a moment's notice. Every single one of us is militia. So, no, there's no American civilian. Let's be fucking fair and clear and honest about it. No, most American civilians don't go fucking running around and shooting off Patriot rockets at fucking incoming nukes. But I'll tell you this, If it wasn't for that fucker on the fucking front lines with that gun, standing there just saying, hey, motherfucker, not a step further, no more of these bullshit ass laws, you'd be coming home from overseas where all of that fucking Patriot missile shit's going off and Aegis and all that. You'd be coming home from that to chains, to literal and figurative chains. Because the men and women who are here did not stand up for what you are fighting for. So yes, the reality is not a single American is a civilian in the common sense. We all know our way around guns. We all know our way around explosives. We all know our way around, you know, things that catch fire. We all know our way around weapons of some sort. Let's be clear. Even the fucking liberals have swords and knives, baseball bats, and they know how to use them as a weapon. I mean, come on. It's not fucking rocket science, people. Weapons, arms, same damn difference. So, if there's not a single American civilian what are we making all these fucking laws based off of the ideal of civilian for? I'd like to know. There's no true American civilian. Every single one of us has weapons training of some sort. Hell, even if you played around with fucking smoke bombs and fucking snap-its as a child, here in America, you know how to utilize weaponry. It's very fucking simple. You know, other countries, not so much. Okay, fine. But here in America, we all know weapons. To some grade, form, or fashion. Some of us more than others, but everybody has some foundation. And this is my point. There is not a single civilian in America. So, since that's the case, stop acting like it. Grow a pair of testicles. You know what I'm saying? This is the 4th of July. If you think I'm going to stop somebody from fucking shooting off fireworks tonight, you outside your mind. I don't have anything that goes boom at the moment. Now, that don't mean to say that I won't, you know, coming up there shortly here because, let's be clear, this is my birth month. I make sure that I buy myself a birthday present every year because nobody's going to buy a birthday present I want, so I buy myself a birthday present. This year, it's going to be something which, as a plus, I get to have other fun stuff because I have an excuse for it. So, yeah. Screw you, government. Lots of lead and powder, though. Yes. Lots and lots of lead and powder. So, that's going to be one of those things. It all depends on which ounce of what we're talking. If we're talking C4, that's about like, you know, $85 to $100 an ounce. If we're talking marijuana, that's about $60 an ounce. If we're talking baking soda, that's about $5 an ounce. If we're talking black powder, though, yeah, about $25 to $30 an ounce. You're about right there, boy. Oh, you're talking silver. There's a different story. See, me personally, I got, you know, precious metals. That's what. No, thank you. I don't want the software update. It won't let me back out. It's telling me you're going to do a software update without your fucking permission. So I'll be back shortly. Catch y'all in a few seconds. Because, of course, Google tells me you're going to do this. Bye. There we go. Fucking turds. Here, let me give you an update you can't say no to. Thank you, Android. I give Microshaft 4 Zach fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Look, my shit's still sitting there loading.
I was able to click onto the computer, actually sign into my computer, sign into StreamYard, do all the extras and all that shit faster than Android could get their asshole out of a fucking bundle on the floor. Way to go. God, these people. Kino, good to see you. Oh, now it wants to. Like, here, let me restart for you. Right to me. So, anyways, as I was saying earlier, thud, I got my precious metals. Y'all may not know this, but this is lead. This is the only precious metal that's actually worth a fuck. Lead. Everything else is like, well, you can't use it to hunt anything. You can't eat it. It's, Well, but yeah, I've got I got myself set up. Lots of pellets. And yes, those ones. The ones that'll really mix some mud. Then, of course, you know me. I've always got something on standby, right? You know, something with a little oomph behind it instead of a pellet. I got something behind it. So, yeah, I've got my precious metals covered. And Houdini has not gotten it through his thick skull that I am literally trying my damnedest to ignore him at the moment. Because I don't want him coming out here right now because I'm actually on the computer. And a lot of the damage that has been done to my computer has been when I'm not paying attention to the computer itself. Yes, you can make lead travel at a high rate of speed with the right tool. You are absolutely correct about that, William. It just so happens I have several of those tools. I also have other ways of utilizing that lead. I can trade it. I can use it for scales, for weights on scales, calibrating stuff. I can use this as a rock, throw it fast enough, it'll kill whatever, use it as a sling stone. Another thing that is really useful with lead that a lot of people don't rightly know about, and a shout out to Kat on this one, fishing weights. All right. You don't need much to make fishing weight. But without the weight, catching the desired fish is really difficult. So, Spooglegoo, I hate you. What's up, Kentucky? Good to see you. Now, Chuck, good to see you too. Pete, anybody I missed? I do not believe I missed. Okay. But yeah, this thing right here, a little fidget toy for me right now. Majik, what's up, bruh? Good to see you. So yeah, I got a ingot of lead. I can turn that into projectiles. I could turn that into plumb weights. I could turn that into just about anything. You just heard Adam Sandler. See you later, poopsicle. Yes, of course, it's got to happen like that. I mean, you got to hear some comedy come out of me, and I mean, a lot of my foundation comes from specifically comedians. Where do you think I get my sense of humor? Yeah, just enough up. There we go. And of course, now I can't see shit. This is my life, y'all. I'm just joking, yo. I'm just joking. There we go. A little better. Not great, but a little better. Yes, lead and brass, the only true precious metals. And only brass that's already formed. Because forming brass is a pain in the ass. Actually making, shell casings, brass shell casings is a royal pain in the ass without machining. Without machine tools and presses and, extreme pressure, hydraulic presses, stuff like that, you're not really going to do all of that perfect. And proper source of annealing heat. You've got to have those things in order to be able to utilize brass. And so brass that's preformed is actually what's worth something. If you've got malformed brass or a brass that's not going to do right, brass that has been necked out or necked in and isn't the same as its proper caliber, as it's assigned, you're going to end up with these issues. And not only that, but if you fail to anneal your brass before reloading, you're going to end up with issues. Everybody knows what a split casing looks like. Especially if you've used steel, but still brass. You can't reload steel because it will split, guaranteed. Brass, you can reload a couple times, 3-4 times before it'll split. Well, if you didn't know before, now you know. If you anneal the brass, it won't split. Things to learn when you learn gunsmithing and reloading and stuff like that. It's important to know as a prepper. Even if you don't do it yourself, the whole reloading stuff is good to know. Because say you're dealing with somebody who knows some things about reloading but doesn't know that particular. They could reload a whole bunch of ammunition, but that ammunition's worth all fuck, because you're going to end up with a bunch of stovepipes and split brass and stuck brass and shit like that, because the feller didn't sit there and polish the casings and anneal the casings and repolish the casings and then go and do a hardness test on one out of a batch sort of thing, and check head spacing, check this, that, and the other, camber tent, detent and whatnot, primer seating, shit like that. Just all the fucking minutia. Little minutia that normally people don't pay attention to, because it's like, oh, well, it's a press. It's like, it's just a ka-chunka, it does whatever. Okay, fine. No. Ka-chunka, take the piece out, look at it, inspect, make sure everything's right, then go back with a set of fucking micrometer calipers and, calipers, micrometer, and check the damn thing, make sure it's all 100% right, and head spacing's right, this, that, and the other, length of casing's right, and you didn't get any stretching or compression or expansion or bulging or anything like that. Now you got a good round it can use. All of that goes into reloading a fucking round, a single round. So, the knowledge is great to have, but necessary if you're going to be carrying this stuff, raw materials. Sure, you're going to find brass out there. Okay, great. Can you do what I can do and melt brass down into something that's a usable form, like turn it into cores for projectiles, or lead fill old brass casings to be able to utilize them as projectiles? Believe it or don't, this is a trick that believe it was an Army Ranger was the one who taught me this. You take the shell casings from a .22 long rifle, and you pour your liquid lead into those brass casings, and now you've got something you can shoot out of your .25 Grendel or out of any other .25 caliber. You turn around and you do that same thing with, say, like .25 caliber auto casings. You can do that and make those into, like, jacketed hollow points, basically, for your 30 cals, because the OD of the casing is the same as the ID of the diameter bore. And you got to be right about that. Make sure you measure shit, but you can get away with that with certain guns. All right, brother. Good to see you, Chuck. Thanks for coming by. There's only one problem with gold. And I'll point this out. All right. Gold is too precious to utilize for its other, functional use, which is to stabilize silver in order to be utilized as a projectile. A lot of people don't know this. If you take gold and silver and you melt them together, you can make something that is as good as lead, just much more expensive to shoot. Okay? But here's the thing, though. Like I said, it's much more expensive to shoot. And this is going to be the go-to. Whereas you're going to have people like, I got silver, I got gold, I got all this, but I don't have any lead. People with the knowledge of how to actually refine this shit, go out there into the woods, find galena, and refine it into the lead ore, into the lead ingot, is going to be, that knowledge is going to be worth far more than gold ever will be. Because you can only use gold for so many things, like wiring and circuitry, like stabilizing silver in order to make projectiles, because it will. Silver on its own inherently hardens unstabilized when you pour it as a projectile. Now, the reason why people know this is because of the whole, only a silver bullet will kill a werewolf, this, that, and the other bullshit. Well, even though it's a joke round, a meme round, basically people started fucking around with that. And then they found out that with the right ratio of gold to silver, you can make that silver projectile stabilize. Instead of doing this instead of having, like, say this is the projectile and you've got most of the weight right here, rather than in the middle. Okay, it's down here on one side, even though the shape of the projectile is uniform all the way around. When it's flying through the air, because all of the weight's right here, you've got this projectile doing this as it goes through the air. Okay, so now it's not stabilized. It's just kind of rotating through the air. And so by doing that, you're getting this kind of an action where the bullet itself corkscrews through the air because of that weight being on one side, and it causes the bullet to destabilize and fly wrong. Whereas lead and gold tinted silver will both fly true. That's a real big deal. Lead will fly true out of rifling. Copper will fly true out of rifling. Gold tinted silver will fly true out of rifling. But silver itself is inherently unstable because of how it cools and congeals. It has this just something about it. It doesn't matter if you spin form it. It doesn't matter what you do to it. For some reason, silver will end up having one side of the silver really dense and then one side of the silver not as dense. It's thermal coupling, but it's also something to do with the way that the crystals of silver grow when you cool it. So that's why they don't do that's why they don't make them like that out of silver, just pure silver, because the bullet spirals through the air. And this is actually proven. You can see it on videos here on YouTube. Mythbusters did the whole thing where they checked in slow-mo to see what the bullet did, and it literally oscillated through the air as it spun, and it started to you corkscrewed through the target and kind of just did all these kind of weird corkscrews and shit that went haywire. And no, it's not snowing, Pete. And yes, like the movie Wanted. Yeah, there's no substitute for lead as a core. There's a reason why bullets to this day, all bullets, regardless of the fact that this is disregarding specifically special hunting rounds made of solid copper or solid brass. Okay. All projectiles utilized either in a military format or hunting format, civilian world, or the military sector, public-private military sector, all projectiles in those realms, even when they have steel cores, even when they have copper jackets, all have some form of lead in them in order to stabilize the projectile and make it so it's just enough squishy that it doesn't go and then deform the rifling. And folks who have used copper rounds will attest to this, just like I will. Copper rounds eat your rifling. Not as quickly as brass rounds do, but copper rounds eat your rifling. Lead doesn't. It'll foul your barrel. It'll make it so that, the rifling just shaves off little bits of lead. But on the flip side of it, it's not getting mushed or, pushed around and whatnot and deflected by the metal that's going through it, like copper or iron would. And that's why they don't make projectiles like that for consistent, continual use. If you're going out there and you're going after this one deer and you're trying to, it's in a specific zone where you can't use any kind of projectile except for the bio-friendly copper or brass or bismuth or this, that, or the other, then you are, you run the risk of wearing down your rifling just a little bit every single shot. So that's why they don't play around with that much anymore. Even though, yes, there are copper rounds for hunting specifically in specific zones. And they're made for those particular areas, not because they perform great, even though they do perform great. All right. It's made for those specific areas because, endangered species and all that. And, it's copper. It's It's bio-friendly, I guess, even though we put copper on the bottoms of ships to keep sea life off of them. 762 by 51. 762 NATO. I haven't been keeping up with the prices, honestly. Not because it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to know what the freaking exchange rate is in the apocalypse anyways. And I call it an apocalypse because it's a goof on apocalypse. Like, it's not really the apocalypse, guys. Just be clear. The real apocalypse, guns ain't going to fucking work. It just ain't. The only way that it's going to work is spiritual defense, because the apocalypse is the destruction of all things. So it's not the apocalypse. It's the apocalypse. It's the park your lips real quick. But in that particular point in time, I'm sure the exchange rate will be insane. All right, like this lump. I apologize. This lump. I swear I'm not trying to do this. This shit's literally fucking slick as soap. Okay, this lump of lead will actually go for a pretty fucking price. And then just a little thunker of lead, dude. This is like what? Half pound? Half pound of lead? That'd go for a lot of fucking money in those days. So you got to understand, right now, this ain't worth fuck all. This is like, it's just cheap. This is like $20 a lead, $10 a lead, $5 a lead. Really, this is $5 a lead. Okay, there's not that much money. But the fact that it can translate into such great wealth because of what it is, that's the difference here. Whereas in times where you've got inflation and a standard monetary system, like in a fiat currency like we do now, lead isn't worth a whole fucking lot. By inverse, when we're talking Mad Max situation, what have you, this is more than gold. People will be willing to trade gold for this. For lead. Because lead has its uses. A lot more uses than gold. A lot more uses than silver. Lead has its uses. And so that's where people will be going and gravitating to. If they already know how to make lead, they're going to be better off for it. Because here's the thing. It's not just a smelting process. I don't know if y'all knew that. When you're taking lead and galena and turning it into lead, you have to crush, chemically treat, and process, and then melt down the processed dust, the lead oxide or lead salts, to create lead. You can't just go from rock to lead. It doesn't work like that. You'll get a whole bunch of silver in it. You'll get a whole bunch of other shit in it, and it's going to make the lead impure to where it doesn't have necessarily the same characteristics. And when you make it into a crystal, it's not going to mush. It's going to just turn into crumbles. And that's why you chemically refine it. In order to chemically refine lead, you've got to know how to make sulfuric acid. In order to make lead oxide. See, these are things of chemistry here that you got to learn in order to be able to survive the apocalypse. The apocalypse, the goofballs going out there and a lerping. So yeah, lead. As simple as that. You just turn all the, you go out on a range, for instance. Go out there and just pick up a ton of fucking gravel. All right. And run that gravel through a sifter. Melt that down. And I guarantee you're going to have pieces of copper in it. All right. That you're going to have to sit there and slough off and, get off it as the scarf will off the top. And you'll have lead ingots. Believe it or don't. That's how I did this, just with my own lead instead of somebody else's at a range. This is from out of the tree, actually. But the point is that with this, I can make a whole lot work for me. I can get a whole lot of money rolling in from knowing these things, whereas other people are going to have to learn, they're going to have to super prep for it. They're going to have to be like, okay, I got tons of lead. I've got tons of brass. I've got this much in gold. I got this much in silver. And then when that runs out, when that runs out, what? Exactly. Learn how to make it. Learn how to get out there and grab it up, refine it. You can use it to actually make money now. People still need lead. All right, Majik, have a good one. Have fun. $10.22 all other takedown. I'm sorry, William. I don't mean to laugh at you, but dude, damn. Like, what are you getting that for? Like a bug out a backpack gun or something? In which case, your gun's in two pieces. Get good at putting it together. Really good at it to where you can do it like that. Deep breath and it's together. Because, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, bro. It's like your gun's in two pieces. Okay. It's a good rabbit gun. It's good for wildcatting. I do like the 22 long rifle for that. It's even good up to deer. I wouldn't go beyond deer with the 22. There's just a reality of it. Like 22 long rifle, I would be confident in going deer hunting because of the way that I hunt particularly. Now, somebody else, the way that other people hunt, it's a different story. You're not close enough to make that thing matter. And you don't modify your bullets. And you don't do a whole bunch of other shit that's really important to actually going deer hunting with a 22 long rifle. So don't. Okay? If you're like me, maybe. You can get in close enough to where you could actually have done it with a bow and arrow, but all you've got is a 22. Okay. You're close enough. Now, can you stick that bullet between two ribs right next to their armpit so that you put that bullet between those ribs and through its heart into its shoulder on the other side? Because if you can do that, you can do the same thing as me. Other than that, don't go hunting with a 22 long rifle. Not for anything bigger than a rabbit. It is a valid option. And yes, shot placement is not just key, it's everything with a 22 long. You got to remember, you're taking a bullet that's about this big, thereabouts, and you were flinging that thing at about 1,500 feet per second at maximum. 1,500 feet per second, I can do that with my air gun. A little bit of WD-40. So, again, yes, you can do it. It has barely enough energy to do it. Barely enough. It's a tiny little freaking bullet. It ain't that big of a bullet. I've got one sitting in my backpack that's the same, it's actually the same grain weight as one of these. Strangely enough. So here's the thing, you know, a 22 long rifle will do the job. Is it perfect? No firearm is perfect. Okay? What will do the perfect job on one thing will obliterate something else. And what will do the perfect job on the small shit won't do a fucking thing but piss off the big one. So it's a big deal. You got to know what you're doing. Yes, you can take a deer down with a 22 long rifle. Yes, you can sneak rounds in through a spy gap in a freaking tank, you know, on older tanks with a 22 long rifle. But, and it's a fucking elephant ass, boy, I tell you. 22 long rifle ain't going to do nothing but piss a man off. Unless you hit him right where it fucking matters. So, everything with a grain of salt and appropriate training, you know what I mean? There's a reason why. This gun right here, always loaded, always ready, and I train with it all the time. This is an air gun. Does that mean that it won't do the job? If a 22 long rifle will do the job, then this certainly will. This is an air gun. Their projectiles are moving at relatively the same speed. This one's a little bit heavier. These projectiles are a little heavier than most 22 long rifle. So we're talking, it'll do the job. That's all it needs to do. You know, the air gun will do the job. The 22 will do the job. At the same time, would I use that air gun for taking an elk? Nope. You wouldn't catch me dead trying to use a 25 caliber on an elk. Anything, 25 anything. It's not happening. 25-06 ain't happening. That bullet will obliterate before it goes through the elk's ribs. On the flip side of things, would I shoot an elk with my 50 cal air rifle? Oh yeah. You betcha. You fucker going down. Oh, big old slug of lead, man. Let me put it this way, because I got him sitting right here. That 50 caliber is slinging that thing at exactly the same speed, or roughly the same speed, as the other air gun is. So this big old lump of lead with a chunky little hollow point in it is doing some severe damage downrange. So that's my point. Will it do it? 25 caliber air rifle? Maybe. If you're lucky and you've got, a gilded finger. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't do it. That's really dumb. You're going to get hurt bad. This, on the other hand, might do it. You know, 50 caliber Maraca right here might actually do something. A little 25er, no, I wouldn't do that for it. I wouldn't use that on an elk. But yes, 25 caliber. Will it kill a pig? Funny enough, I've seen it happen. Fully grown pig. I've seen it happen. Would I personally go and suggest, therefore, that you utilize a 25 caliber air rifle for hunting fully grown wild boar? No. I would suggest that if you're going to go the air rifle route, you at least do something in the big bore class, maybe 9mm or up, because you are talking about something that at about 5 seconds, that's about how long it takes for that animal to run from where your maximum range is to where you're standing at. Takes 5 seconds for that animal to come and murder your ass. So, should your first shot count? Yeah. Should it be enough that even if you miss like a little bit, it still has enough to sleep that sumbitch? Yep. A Barrett 416. That dude, what you trying to hunt, son? Are you trying to hunt two-legged deer out at fucking 1,000+ yards? Mind you, at that point they're shooting back, so make that first one count. Tell you what, one thing is the scariest fucking shit I've ever heard of. We're gonna go two-legged deer hunting. What? No, thank you. Show. There we go. Yeah, that just does not taste as good as in the sunlight mine. Yeah, it's 1,600 yards with a 416. It's a ketchup stain, but at the same time, 1,600 yards, they're shooting back, and it may not be with what you think it is. Me personally, 45 yards. Your buddies might hear it, but you won't. That's a joke, by the way. Screw tube. Don't get lost. Yeah. That was a joke, by the way. But yeah, here's the thing. It's just like, you know, like William says, I'm more up and close and personal kind of guy. You know. William, 9mm ammo, but no weapon for it? Well, you got two options. One, go buy one. Two, carry a fuck ton of ammunition as barter. And only as barter. If you don't have a weapon that can discharge it, then, you know, you're not going to be using it. So carry it as barter. I mean, that's why I carry 22 long rifle ammunition. I don't have the gun for it. I carry it as barter. It's there, you know. Okay, well, you know, looks like you got a 22 long. I can barter this many rounds for this amount of, I could do this for this amount of food or this amount of other goods, black powder, stuff like that. So, I don't have a 22 long that can shoot that, but I have the ammunition to be able to barter with. 400 yards. It's a hell of a shot, bro. You know what my longest shot was? This will blow your mind, but, and I probably could never replicate it again in my life, but I can honestly say that I did it. And that shot, 410 yards, I believe is what it said. No, I take that back. Said about 190. So longest shot I've ever made with a 22 long rifle was 190. And then other than a 22 long was, there, of course, also my 50 caliber. 50 caliber air rifle, I made a shot at 1,000 yards. I was dropping slugs in on this. It was no flat trajectory anymore. This thing is gone way the fuck out there, and now it's dropping in. Okay. With my 50 cal. 1,000 yards. I bounced a bunny. That's the longest shot I've ever made in my life, and probably could never, ever do it again. Ever. And not in a million fucking years. I was sitting there maybe for 5 minutes. Okay. There he is. Online. Fucking powder in there and all that shit. Just fucking boom. This thing goes out there. And for 5 minutes, watching this rabbit run back and forth in front of me. It must have been like 10 or 15 rabbits because, looking back at it, because, one's not going to keep on doing that crazy ass shit. But it must have been like 10 or 15 rabbits in the same spot, just back and forth, going and getting water. And I'm sitting there on the other side of it, 1,000 yards away with my air rifle, just. And last shot. Absolute last shot that I could have taken and been able to say, all right, I'm going to be able to reach 1,000 yards. And this is with air gun powder, not just, air and let her rip. No, this is with the air gun powder. Let her rip out there. Last shot that I've got. And this slug comes in and just Mac Daddy is this freaking rabbit. And I mean, when I say Mac Daddies, you could hear the rabbit get hit from where I was standing. It was that loud. It was. I'm just like, holy shit. I thought for a second I'd gotten a second report, from like the rifle or something. Like, somehow it had just hit the hammer and done that kind of instead of kaboom, and then out there the slug hits, and that is the report that you're hearing coming back at you. It scared the fuck out of me. I thought my air rifle was degassing on me, and I'm in the middle of nowheres, mind you, and there's coyotes and there's bobcats and shit. So if I'm going out there, I'm picking up this rabbit, all of a sudden a bobcat comes out on me, I don't have a 50 cal anymore. All right. So now I can't shoot this motherfucker when he gets in close. Because, at a certain point, the hammer slams home and then it just keeps on going. And you just hear that boom, 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 brrr. And it's all there is gone. So I thought this had happened already. I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, fuck, what do I do? You know, I'm going to go and grab this rabbit. And I finally just said, fuck it. I slung my knife in my side here and walked down there, walked back. And then by the time I'm walking back holding the rabbit, I just decided, okay, well, fuck it. I'm going to look at my rifle. I looked down at my rifle's gauge and I realized that I had at least, you know, a dozen more shots before I was completely out of gas. It's just I couldn't reach out 1,000 yards with it anymore. Well, there you go. Yeah, that's actually really good, William. Like lots of people out there, they train for that stationary shot, that, you know, that 1 in a million, just beautifully perfect. Everything's exhausted and just tired and quiet. Nothing's moving. That's the shot that everybody fucking goes out there and trains for. People like you and me, we train for then I'm going to shoot it while it's sitting there. Now, if it doesn't move, or if it moves really fast, like as if I've shot it, I'm not going to shoot again. But if it takes off running and I see the dirt pucker 5 yards in front of the damn thing, I know I missed. Now I got to shoot him on a run because that bullet might have still skipped up and hit something. So now I got to shoot that deer on a run. I'll shoot that deer and I'll drop him a lot of the time. Same way with a rabbit, you know, it's just a little bit faster and really hard to gauge. So you've really got to gauge him, man. I did that with my dad one time when I was younger. We went out we were on a deer hunt, but because it was also rabbit season, we were just all sitting there, giggling our asses off and chuckling, having a chuckle fuck around the fire. And suddenly my dad says, look, see Blaine right over there. You see him? He's a little tiny black dot right there in the snow. And I said, yeah, I see him. He says, shoot that. And I said, what? He goes, shoot that. I said, all right. My little BB gun that I had at the time, little fucking rinky-dink BB gun. Not my Red Ryder, but, it was a Powerline 109. It was a nice air rifle. But, I sat there. You see this freaking, you see all of a sudden this white dot, this black dot disappear, a red spray, and this giant white fluff go and do a full somersault in the air and come back down. My dad's like, fucking hell yes. I'm like, what? He said, you got dinner. I was like, what? And he goes, oh, wait, there's another one. He pulls out a slingshot. This dude pulls out a slingshot. All right. And then I could barely see it through the snow, but my dad saw him, and it was this freaking rabbit, all white, mind you, just a black dot that he's got to see running across the snow at 25 fucking yards out there with a slingshot. Just fuck! Got him! Just like, dude, that was fucking cool. So you gotta imagine, me and my dad used to go out there. We'd be hunting and fishing and all that fun shit. And we'd get into the fucking wickedest things like you ever did mine. So this is why I know for a fact, air guns are ethical for hunting. Slingshots are ethical for hunting. All right. Don't ever discount something just because, oh, it's not a firearm. They used to kill people 2,000 years ago with a long fucking rope and a rock. Just saying, man. What? It's not a firearm. Sounds pretty fucking retarded to me. It's an air gun. It's a fucking bow and arrow. It doesn't matter. It could be a freaking an air shoot 'em a gigget for a 200 psi freaking pneumatic tank that you use for air, nailing stuff. Take one of those air shooters, the air brooms, put a tube on it, and then you make it so that it's got a second tube, and then you just put BBs down in that motherfucker. You've got an automatic BB gun. Just saying. It could be worse. You could be sitting there and be like, well, what am I gonna do? I can't go and make this. I can't get this in the store no more. Ingenuity and necessity creates invention. It's one of those, logic, reason sort of shit. Like, you get people fucking on that level of it. It's just, would you fucking just get a hold of yourself, you stupid motherfucker. I mean, imagine for a second, like some of these people that want to be sitting here and spitting out, we need more gun control, love, and all that shit. That is one of my main gripes with society. Stop trying to control everything. You're never going to. Just fucking don't. That's why I never became a cop. That's why I never became a politician, even though I was looking to be one at one point. I said to myself, fuck, man, my kind of ideals, I'd be out with that shit right fucking quick. They'd be like, no, we're going to censor you because you speak too much like these radical right-wingers. Radical. Do you not know our history, good sir? Do you not understand where our country comes from and how it was founded? That would be my response, and they would turn around, hate me, and censure me. So I already knew that was coming. I says, all right, well, that option's off the board. I already know folks would have voted for me just because the way I talk is the way that a lot of y'all talk, is the same sense between the two. It was actually in 2006 when I first thought about it. It was in 2005 when I graduated high school. That was on my agenda, was, go and be a politician. 2006 when I realized, even though, it shouldn't matter, I was liberal at the time. Okay, I had liberal ideals, fucking going way back there. He's 18 years old, all right? Still liberal. I realized that was some stupid fucking shit. Right off the bat. Like, I had my first realization, you got to get your own job, pay your own fucking bills, do this, do that, and, maybe you can climb the ladder, maybe. Then on top of that, government is asshole. Went and decided that you can't this, that, and the other and whatnot, and without my input, even though I voted against it, this, that, and the other, I said, okay, wait, whoa. This ain't right, and anybody who's got common sense would have voted against it. I'm going to volunteer to observe at the next presidential election. So I did. 2006 rolls around. I'm there observing at the presidential election. And I realize at that moment, it's rigged. It's always been rigged. And it's rigged to a point where you're not going to get in. Fucking guarantee it. I don't care who you are. Unless you are one of these pristine motherfuckers, got all the money in the goddamn world and you can run your own campaign, or you are on the other side of it, a career fucking politician. You are not going to get in there. I guarantee it. So running as an independent was off the docket, was out the idea. It's just not going to happen. So I says to myself, well, there's other options. There's other jobs. There's other things you could do that are just as adventurous and just as delightful and keep you on the cusp and leading edge of everything, technology and what have you. So I went out and I tried to do those jobs. And it spiraled slowly downhill until finally I just got to the point where I am today. So I'm no longer a liberal. I'm not a right-winger. I'm an independent. I have this kind of independent ideology about me. It's like, no, fuck you. And the horse you rode in on, you're not telling me what I can and cannot do. Regardless of whether or not, okay? Just because I try to be nice and courteous to everybody else, I remain constitutional. I have been adjudicated by a jury of my peers to be a good man. And always attempting to do so. So, no. Not playing that game with me. Yeah, but here's the problem with that. You'll notice that something happened to a particular feller when he did that. And I don't know if y'all know that he did that. But RFK, JFK, they both paid the price for it. You don't go having somebody pay your docket and then not follow through. That's the big deal. That's why they killed him, because he didn't follow through with what they wanted him to do. That's why they killed both of them. So mind you, you got to pay attention to that sort of shit. If you're working for somebody, you're doing what they are paying you for. Which is precisely why I'm never going to be a politician. You can pay me all the fucking money in the world, ain't going to change my mind. All the dollar signs in the world ain't going to change my mind. It's called moral standing. It's something a man is supposed to have. He's supposed to take pride in. It's something that makes you disgusted when you see others not utilize it. Any Hoosiers. I got a good buzz on. How you? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. May I have your attention, please? Thank you. It was a joke, by the by, if you didn't know. It's one of those like bad humor kind of crass jokes and shit. Here I is sitting here having a beer, relaxing, and well, fucking animals of the forest want to come out, come in and drink my pond and eat my fucking garden. Every single day is like this, folks. I don't know if you all know this. There's a reason why the woodshed has kind of become my little man cave, because it looks directly at my garden and my pond. And I have all of the woods deciding that, no, you can't have. And I don't know if Mama Nature got her panties in a twist or something, but she doesn't realize I do have the ability to back that up. Keep your animals on that side of the fence, damn it. Love you, Mama. Have a nice day. I'm just says, it's one of them. I work really fucking hard for what I got. Yeah, really fucking hard. And the money and the time and the extras as I put into it, and to have all of that threatened by raccoons, by possums, by squirrels, by bears, by fucking birds galore. Thank God I ain't had a pig in the yard yet. I'll say it that way. I know they're up here. I know that they roam the woods and whatnot. They're not exactly common anymore down this far south, but we're kind of in that lovage zone, that interim area between southern pigs and northern pigs, where it's just like that one little gap where you would see them, but not as much. Because northern pigs got more hair. Southern pigs, they got less hair, but they're still, and they're nocturnal, by the by, most of the time. But they're more hunted down in the south than they are up in the north. Yet the ones up in the north, you don't see them as often. You only see them in the summer. Well, I ain't had pigs in here. I ain't had bears. I ain't had nothing, because every night I've got fucking rats. And every night I'm out here. Fuck you, Mickey! So, yeah. I guess it does make a difference, but you got to be out there doing it. Tell you what, my birds have ate good for the past couple of days because there ain't been so many Mickeys in the ground. Yeah. And Thomas Jefferson, honestly. Believe it or don't. Thomas Jefferson had a huge hand in the writing of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. In fact, he's the one who I often quote when I'm saying things about the Second Amendment is the right of the people to stand as a militia in the defense of its country. That comes from Thomas Jefferson. Something that I wanted to also point out to you. Another Jefferson, which we all know of, happens to be my cousin's favorite president. I joke about that, but Jefferson Davis is quoted saying these words, and I want you to adhere to them, and I want you to hear them because they're important. And this is what it means to be an American. The highest form of patriotism a man can achieve is that he stands against his own country when they are in the manner of tyranny. That was Jefferson Davis, the Confederate president. When he was still a senator, he turned around and he said to Congress those very words. That's when he actually resigned. He said those words, in fact. It's well documented and well quoted. The height of patriotism is that a man stands against his own country in the instance that his government become tyrannical. That is a fucking tall ass order, but I tell you what, that's the whole fucking reason right there, 100%, why Southerners turned around and said, no, fuck you. It wasn't slavery, this, that, or the other. It wasn't this, that. No. Our government became tyrannical. That is the height of patriotism. I actually utilized that in a court case, if you didn't know. Judge asked me if I was an insurrectionist, if I had an actual interest in insurrection. I responded with, and I quote, "Sir," to quote the Confederate President Jefferson Davis, "it is the height of patriotism that a man stand against his own government when that government itself becomes tyrannical of its own ends and means. Therefore, if I am an insurrectionist because I chose to stand to my patriotic duty, so be it." Judge's ruling was not an insurrectionist. Now, this was back there my ways. Wasn't recent. But yeah, that actually showed up in a court case. Let it blow your mind. Yeah, Jefferson Davis helped me out in a court case. It is the height of patriotism. I mean, that is something. It really is. Now, if you'll excuse me right quick. Sorry about that. I had an influx of canary. And because I went and I moved, rather than picking my rifle up and just shooting a bastard, he took off. So that's going to be a problem for later. This is how farming works YouTube, I don't know if you know this, but at the drop of a hat, you have to go and then shoot a pest. It's always fun when you're dealing with, this is how it works. On top of that, my backyard's set up specifically so that all of my garden is in a specific zone, so where I'm not shooting at fucking neighbors. Everything's taken care of. But, YouTube's going to lose their minds and go, oh my God, he went and he tried to go and shoot a bird. Whee! Just so you know, you little PETA fucks, he flew away, he's fine. Good God. He won. Be happy, you old pussies. 9. All right, that time I missed. But I hit a tree. That was the report y'all heard. Like, holy shit. That's just an air rifle. A little bit of WD-40 behind it. That was something. That's something else, man. There's a reason why I shoot the way I shoot. I do things the way I do is because I'm very protective about everybody. Funny enough, people would think, oh no, he got guns. He's one of those evil right-wing lunatic things. No. Not just no, but hell no. I'm not evil. I'm not lunatic. Matter of fact, y'all pushed me to fucking right wing by being lunatic and evil, but whatever. Reality dictates that, a man has to do what a man has to do. And just so as you know, that bird got away too. Little bastard. Like I said, they come down, they drink my water, they rob me of my garden, they eat my fucking seed in the garden, they fucking destroy everything, they eat my plants, this shit on my chickens, they come in, they eat the chicken feed. At what point is it okay for me to fucking respond already? I just says, at some point, it's got to be too fucking much. It's got to be an insult to being a human fucking being when I can't go and shoot a pest that is fucking my garden off. Or attacking my chickens. Or, heaven forbid, something attacks my dog. Oh boy, it'd be hell to pay that. Attack my dog. And that's my point. What point does it stop being, all right, I'm not protecting my property? Huh? Because according to these fucking numbnuts, goddamn politicians and their fucking goddamn bullshit-ass gun laws, if I got a bear in my backyard, I just got to let that motherfucker eat me. Thank God for depredations laws that were set down almost 200 fucking years ago. Because if that self-same bear comes into my backyard and I shoot the motherfucker because he's trying to eat my dog, he's trying to eat my fucking chickens, and then he's trying to eat me, I'm not in trouble for shooting the bear and I get to keep the fucking bear. It's called depredations. I just have to prove, hey, he was in my backyard. I shot the motherfucker because he was in my backyard. That's all I got to prove. Everything else is fucking just bygones be bygones. Fuck it all. Dude fucking took down something that was going to kill someone. Or something. Taking the lives of people or property. And when I say property, that's also including livestock, so don't get lost. This is my point. Government around where I live at, you can put down your own animals, but you can't put down your own animals. You can shoot a motherfucker that comes into your yard, but you can't shoot a motherfucker that comes into your yard. You can have up signs. You're supposed to have up signs that you have a dog, and so therefore beware of the dog. But if you have up signs that have beware of the dog, then hey, you're responsible for that dog attacking somebody. Motherfucker, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? Huh? How's about this? You crawl your happy ass in my backyard and my dog fucking rips your trousers upside and fucking rips your nuts off. I tell you what, that's your fault. Because you chose to ignore the fucking signs and commit criminal trespassing. Duh. I'm in my backyard and I got my rifles next to me. You hop your happy ass in my backyard because you saw me shoot a bear. Because that bear was trying to eat my chickens. And you go calling the fucking cops. They're going to arrest you. Do you know why? Because under depredations law and under self-defense rights, I have the right to shoot that fucking bear. Regardless of tag, he's in my backyard. And that's that simple. And the same runs true all the way down to a fucking cockroach. If I shoot that motherfucker with a shotgun, fine. It's a cockroach. Doesn't matter. It's a pest. The point remains pest control. So control your lips. Unfortunately, I got to explain all this shit because of where I come from, you know, where I lived anyways. You got all these fucking little, you know, fuckers that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and they get all fucking uptight and get their panties in a bunch and their ass button in a fucking rural because they don't understand. Because they live in a high-rise fucking apartment that they never see anything more than maybe at the worst cockroaches and house mice. They don't understand that for people who are farming in their backyards, making their own gardens, going and, you know, having their own fish ponds, maybe raising their own chickens, or have ducks and geese and pigs and sheep and cows and all this other fun shit that makes it so that it's possible for you to have clothing and for you to have milk and for you to go and have meat and for you to go and have all these other fun shit that you don't realize has to do with animal production. For instance, organic foods. For instance, vegetables. For instance, soybean production. If you don't fucking know this, you're an idiot. Because soybeans need high nitrogen to grow. They need high phosphorus to grow. They need enough potassium to make a difference. But you wouldn't know this. You'd think, oh, well, that's all chemicals and whatnot. No. Actually, funny enough, it's not. Depending on the prices of fertilizer, sometimes chicken shit's less expensive than the fucking chemical fertilizers. Don't know if you knew that. But it's true. Sometimes chicken shit costs less. Sometimes chicken shit costs more. You never know which side it's going to be on. But the matter of fact is that the farmer, the production farmer, is going to look for the cheapest option. Whether that's chicken shit, whether that's all of the chemical fertilizers or what have you. One or the other is going to be on that particular, and it just so happens that, steer shit is pretty cheap. It's still a great fertilizer for vegetation. These things come together in order to make your vegetable foods that you vegans love so much. So for us who are carnivores, carnitarians, eat meat, in other words, here's the reality of the situation. This is why we say you eat shit. Because you eat shit. It just looks like something else. It's been processed into a vegetable. I eat the thing that eats the thing that you eat. See the difference here? That's my point. So you're going after all of this as, oh, well, you need to stop eating meat. You need to stop doing this, that, and the other. You need to stop. No, you need to stop telling me. I will make my own decisions in my life. And it just so happens that I have been healthy my whole life because I've made those decisions for myself. When I was not making decisions for myself, I was very unhealthy. I was in a bad place. And there was a good opportunity for me to end up dead. So I will proudly thank you very kindly to turn the fuck around and take your opinion that direction. I'm just trying to give y'all ammunition for when the day comes when you got to deal with these dumb motherfuckers as I have. And given me this kind of introspective to be able to say these things with just the kind of method acting I can do. Like, y'all do understand that sounds about that dumb, like, fuck, son, that bitch is wrong. Did y'all know? Did you know? No? Well, now, so I'll tell you what. See, it's method acting, all right. And this thing is true. I do some method acting with my own background, and then I can do other method acting that ain't exactly from that background. Like, for instance, see if I can get this right. What's up, man? Thing? You fuck you, homie. Fuck your ass up, man. Fuck you. Nah, you don't know, doggy. You don't know, doggy. I fuck you up, man. Yeah, because here lately we ain't been fed bullshit. Honest God truth. I've been saying this for a long time, and I keep on wondering if people are actually going to pay attention as I says it, because it keeps on coming up. I identify as a green lawn because y'all keep on heaping bullshit on top of me, expecting me to freaking come up something. So I must be a green lawn or something. Speaking of hoodoo, he's in the house right now, keeping it out of the way. It's important right now. Because, like I said, I'm on my computer because my shell phone decided to take a fucking risk. So I'm on my computer, and I just thought I'd come with you, quick little Happy Independence Day. Instead of, you do realize this means war, I decided to come into the gate with, well, independence then. So sit back, smoke your weed, drink your booze, smoke your cigarettes, and have yourself a nice day. Because the reality is, this is the birth of our country. And it will happen over and over and over again. But this year, we experience it together. 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. May God bless you. And may God bless this country from coast to coast, brotherhood to brotherhood, on the truth of it. Because I just got to say, I love my country. And yeah, we are still under red coat law, which does bother me some. But here's the thing. It's only if you accept it. And it's the difference between me and most folks. It's what you accept, whether you are under red coat law or American law. American law cannot conflict with the Constitution itself. All those other fucking laws, gun control, taxation, this, that, and the other, that's all fucking red coat law. Constitution, that's American law. So, there. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to have me a toke. Be right back. Good stuff. Ahoo. Woo. That'll knock you on your ass. See, I got a specific thing as I got to say. See, Joe Biden says, at a particular time or what have you, you couldn't own a cannon. Well, actually, I want to point something out to you, Joe, real quick. I don't know if you're paying attention or whatnot, but this needs to be said to you. So I'm going to say it to you as direct as I can. Just like in the 1700s, whereas if I had enough money, I could purchase a cannon. Today, legally, as according to the United States Constitution, I could purchase an F-35C or D variant or E variant or whatever variant if I've got the money to do so. Hand to fucking God. That's the law. So bullshit about that whole you can't own a cannon. Motherfucker, I could discharge a cannon right down the front street right here if I wanted. Doesn't mean I'm gonna. It means that if I wanted to, I could. Because of the law previously existing. So, Joe, stop it. Get some help before it's too late. So, any Hoosiers, that's the way as I look at it, you know. Yeah, fucking Uncle Sam can go ride a high hard one for all the fuck I give. This is how it works. I could buy an F-15 if I wanted. I could buy a F-16 if I wanted. I could buy a fucking F-35B if I wanted, or C or D or what have you. I could buy an F-22 if I wanted. If I had the money to do so, mind you, I could do these things. Me, personally. Doesn't mean I could fucking ever operate the damn thing just because, you know, that doesn't mean shit. I could own it. It could be mine. Here's my point to you, son. I have the right to have military arms. So does any other American. Stop it. Because your bullshit is getting you into trouble. It's getting your children into trouble. Stop your bullshit. Let's just stop your bullshit. Before it, don't think of this thing as whole selfish shit, nothing like that. I want you to look at it as actually be selfish about it. Here, look, actually be selfish about it. Your children. Your rights. Because you're not just taking them away from me. I want to make that clear, Joe. You're not just taking them away from me, you're taking them away from you and your children and their children and their children. So stop your bullshit. And this is what my grandmama would have said to me. Boy, come here real quick so I slap the piss out you. What the fuck you thinking while you thinking it? Get that shit out your mind. Ain't right, I tell you right now. You're going to beat your ass, boy. Man, my grandma will light up her fucking room, I tell you what. I want an A-10 for Christmas too, cuz that shit'd be fucking cool. One of the only planes out there I could probably learn how to fly. Be fair and honest. I probably couldn't. Well, I won't say I couldn't. It would take a lot of fucking work to learn how to fly an F-14, but I probably could learn the manual of arms of the A-10. I don't think I personally could do the F-35 or the F-16 just because of the level of complexity. But the A-10, F-14, yeah, maybe. P-51D Mustang, all day long, son. I can fly that. Shit, I can fly that without any instructions. But A-10s, that would take some work. Take some instruction. It would take some work. And not only that, but I would have to have, like, I'll put it this way. I would have to have the mindset that even though I could fly an ultralight, I can fly these other planes and whatnot just from what I know. I do not fucking know shit by comparison to the instructor. So I'm going to let the instructor teach me. Tell me everything I need to know, everything I don't need to know, and everything on the side of that. Because that information might come in handy later. I don't know. But the instructor is important. So, see, that's why you never see me flying on my own just because it's like, well, I had no instruction, but I could do it. I know I can. And it's not just potential. It's knowledge of the actual what I'm doing, how things work, shit like that. I know all of this shit. So my body's reaction, my instincts will be dead on with that because it's already ingrained. It's already been put there. Like riding a jet ski. Y'all may not know this, but you got to know fluid dynamics. You got to know hydrodynamics. You got to know all this stuff to deal with just riding a jet ski, especially when a stand-ups. If you don't know how that works, you're going to be falling on your ass a lot. And it's kind of funny when you see somebody take up off out of the fucking water, just shoo, and then start doing cartwheels. And their jet ski just because it's funny as shit because they didn't even fucking go nowhere. They weren't even going. It was just a matter of and they're doing cartwheels across the water. Like, come on, dude. That was an extra special moment. That's why it's like, yeah, I can fly. I know I can fly. I got no problem with that. I know I can fly. That's not an issue. I know how to fly in any kind of apparatus, from everything from a wingsuit on up to a freaking probably an airliner. By the dynamics of the situation, not talking about the electronics, not talking about the knowledge and specifics as far as this, that, and the other. I'm talking about just the feel of the flight. I can do that. Now, there again, all the technical shit. No, I don't know that stuff. And this is why you need to have an instructor. All right. Even with a fucking ultralight. Even with a fucking ultralight, you at least need to have the first 5 minutes with an instructor so that they can give you an understanding of what the fuck you're doing. Because an ultralight, you only have yourself. You are the only passenger in that plane. And that plane doesn't have any redundancies. It's an ultralight. It's supposed to be under a specific weight so that you don't end up, having to regulate yourself on certain pathways and rules and whatnot, having to deal with the FFA and all that bullshit. Just ultralight. You only get one fuck up. Okay? Especially in an ultralight. You only get one fuck up. But you only get one fuck up when flying. It's best to have an instructor. See, I don't have any of that. I have about 3 hours. Count them, 1, 2, and 3 in an ultralight. Scariest fucking moments of my life. It's one of the reasons why I don't like flying. That's all the piloting I've ever done. Other than on a jet ski or on a motorcycle. Or in a car. On the ground. You know what I'm saying? Flying, I've only done 3 hours in an ultralight. And that was the scariest fucking moments of my life because I went up, flew around in a bunch of circles for about an hour and a half. Then went into a pattern to come back down, flew that pattern for about an hour, and then came down for landing. All because of somebody sitting there talking in my ear. This is what you need to do, this, there, and that, and the other. And then just in case of this, and just in case of that. And just so we're clear, you need to hit this particular runway. So go ahead and make a left-hand turn here, and then go out, come back around, make another right hand in, come down. Normally, you don't make right-hand turns. Yes, I know. You make a left-hand turn because it's easier on the engines, it's easier on the plane, it's easier on everybody else. But when you're having to do things and you have a limited time constraint, sometimes you have to make that right-hand turn. So, yeah. I didn't do tail draggers. Scariest fucking shit, like I said. Trike with a delta wing and a fucking swing bar. No. Never again. You want to talk about the scariest fucking thing in the world, coming down over asphalt, and your ass is this far off the ground. By your ass, I mean your butt cheeks are that far off of the ground. Yeah. Oh, shit, that's scary. Yeah, things do happen too fast flying when you cannot fly impaired. Don't care. It's just way too fast. You don't have time to turn. You don't have time to fucking nothing. You have to be 3 steps ahead and 20 steps behind. I mean, 3 steps ahead and 20 yards behind. It is not bullshit. You have to be that little fucking tiny ass pocket that you're sitting in. No flying. Thank you. No more. That was the scariest shit I've ever done. Not doing it again. You want me to fly? I'll tell you what. Do me like B.A. Baracus. Knock my fucking ass out, and then right before you shove me out the back of the plane to do a fucking halo, make sure you got somebody gripping my ass on the way down so that they can fucking turn around and pull my chute before I hit the ground. Okay? Other than that, don't put me in a fucking plane. I have one experience as a kid, 3-year-old, flying on an airliner. Never do that again. I'm not flying in an airliner ever to fuck again. The 300 fucking foot drop at the end was enough to make me so that my skull is permanently in a funky ass little fucking weird shape from landing directly into the fucking gas, the O2 mask thing with the top of my head. Never doing that fucking dumb shit again. Yeah, I'm not getting on an airliner. I'm not getting on a fucking any other plane that anybody else is piloting. As for piloting something myself, the most fucking dire of circumstances. Okay. Sure. But whoever the fuck is responsible for this shit better be standing right fucking there, dick sneeze in front of me when I land so I can uppercut the fuck out of that son of a bitch because he put me in a plane. That's my point. Nice. Sucked on the wrong end of the fucking smoke. Lie. Ah. That was the end. Not that one. Nice. Just liberty. Mm-hmm. It works. Yeah, I won't get into a plane for my own reasons, but I mean, yeah, sure. I'm sure somebody could possibly fucking talk me into it. You'd have to get me drunk first. And then it's not smart to get into a plane. So the double fucking whammy, you know what I mean? In my right mind, I'm not getting in a fucking plane. Fuck you. No, we going to blows, brother. So I'm going to point that out. You put me in a fucking plane. I got good reason not to do that. Part of it is the weird ass shape of the top of my skull. I mean, it's not so bad on this side anymore because they put a titanium plate in my head from getting into a fight. Or no, that's on this side. It's not as bad here anymore on this side, but it's still got that little divot here and here. And with that weird ass ridge going right down the middle of my skull. Because what happened is I hit the panel where the gas mask comes down for you, in the event of a, depressurization or something. My head hit the panel and it caved inwards like this. And so it went like this with my head. And as I came back down, the panel fell outwards and the gas mask come falling down. But there I am sitting in this thing. And the reason why all that happened, the seat belt could not cinch down tight enough to hold me as a child. So when people say, oh, well, your children are safe in the plane. No, they're fucking not. No, they're not. Not even in turbulence. Let's be clear. Let's not lie to each other. Your children are not safe in the event of turbulence unless you are holding them with everything you've got. And even then, they're not safe because you cannot hold 1.5 pounds like this under that amount of G-force. One way or another, it's going to come squirting out. So, no, your children are not safe on an airplane. Don't give a fuck. Up to and including 16-year-olds. Adults only. Because of the fact that that's what the seats are made to hold. Okay? If I got on a plane now, yeah, I wouldn't bounce up and down and slide out, go squirting out of the fucking seatbelt as the plane drops 300 feet to come down and land at LAX. Wouldn't happen anymore. Yeah, my guts would still be at the top of my brainstem, but at the same time, I wouldn't fucking smack the top of my head anymore. Don't put your kids on a plane. It's not smart. Yeah, because you can't pull over on a cloud in an emergency. I thought that was pretty good. Now, mind you, this is the thing. This has always been one of the pretty much the defining factor of whether or not I lose my shit over somebody telling me to take a plane. All right. There are not a lot of airline involved accidents or incidents where, the airliner goes down or whatnot in comparison to how many flights they make. However, every time an airliner has gone down, survivability of that crash has been minimal at best. And I fly in the tail section. Yeah, it's that fucked up, man. It's like that fucked up. I lost my dad at 28. Still got my mama, thank God. Because I would be a whole different person. I'd be an animal. I already know it. I love my mama, I love my dad, but it's really for the fact that I have family that I'm not the kind of person that I could be. Damn straight, because if my car stalls, it's just going to roll off to the side of the highway. It ain't going to be fucking falling from 3,000 feet or 10,000 feet. For that matter, I don't think you could fly an ultralight that high. I mean, you probably could, but should you? Mm-hmm. Plane falling out of the sky won't kill you. It's a sudden stop at the end. That's why to this day, I don't understand, even though, you know, the plane never impacted the ground, Bugs Bunny should have been strawberry jam on that windshield. You know what I'm saying? You ever see that cartoon where he fights the gremlin and then they end up, the plane goes down and right before they hit the ground, it's like, what do you know? Out again. Yeah, but what are you going to do with these ACOGs, right? The ration card shit. He runs out of gas before he hits the ground. Funniest shit is that even with the Looney Tune crap physics going on, because of how fast that freaking plane slowed down and the way that Bugs Bunny smacked into that windshield, he should have been strawberry goo. So that's why I said, you know, no, it's not. It's not the crash that kills you. It's the sudden stop at the end. That moment of inertia, as physicists would have you say. Any Hoosiers, I'm going to let y'all go. I still got shit I got to do. And it's 4th of July, so I need to really make sure that there's water all over the fucking grass, all over the place around here this evening. So I'm going to have to, I've got a lot of shit to do before then, so I'm going to be running here pretty quick. It's been grand talking at y'all. It's been fun. Y'all have a good one. Happy Independence Day. And on this particular day, going forwards, remember that without the Minutemen, we would not have this day. So to every Minuteman out there, every militiaman that has served or is serving, thank you very much for your service, because you don't hear it often enough. You have a good one, brother. This is EO Guardsman on. And motherfuckers, I am out.